I got the chance to test out the new DJI Mavic Mini 3 Pro for a few days, and it makes me seriously consider getting one. This is probably the best video quality you're gonna get from a drone this size. Over the past 3 years, I've been using the DJI Mavic 2 Pro, and now is the only time I'm actually considering switching drones. First, I'm gonna talk about the things I really love about the DJI Mavic Mini 3 Pro. I've been filming some drone surfing videos lately, and I wanted to test out the DJI Mavic Mini Pro with that and see if the drone could match the speed of the surfers while still being able to maneuver around them. And I was really impressed how it does. The drone can fly really quickly, and it was able to match the speed of the surfers, and it was really easy actually to get smooth movements around them. So I was really surprised that this size of a drone could maneuver like that. The biggest plus for me is the size and weight of this drone, yet it has such good video quality. I would say the physical dimensions are about half the size, if not even more smaller than the DJI Mavic 2 Pro, yet when you hold it in your hand, it's so much lighter than you think it'll weigh. With my Mavic 2 Pro, it's a lot heavier than you think it'll weigh. So it's crazy how they were able to make it super lightweight like that. It's really easy to take along with you, just put in your backpack or any bag that you have, and you can take it anywhere you go. I'm someone that almost always flies manual, so I never use the tracking mode or those other video features. So I wanted to really test how well the Mavic Mini 3 Pro could fly manually. The thing that's really nice is you can fine tune the controls. So there's 3 modes that you can fly in. There's cinematic mode, normal mode, and sport mode. And so I went into all those 3 modes and adjusted the settings to my liking. I made sure that the sport mode especially was on the fastest settings that it could be, yet keeping the gimbal smooth and the yaw motion smooth. That way you could fly really fast yet get smooth shots, especially when you're turning around and doing maneuvers, for example, like around a surfer. So I think that's a huge plus to be able to still be able to adjust that on a drone this small. The controller I was using was the one with the video screen on it. It was very convenient to have the video screen right built into the controller. You don't have to put your phone in if you forget your phone. The screen looks nice even if it's bright outside, so you can adjust the brightness on the screen. The controller was very high quality and so much easier to use than the other controllers in the past. The video quality, I was able to try the drone before the 10-bit update, and for me there is a lot of artificial sharpening, but then after the update I was able to test it out as well. So now it's shooting in 10-bit when you're in the D-Log setting, and that artificial sharpening in my opinion is a lot less than it was before. So actually the video quality is almost up to par as that of my Mavic 2 Pro, which really impressed me. With a drone this small, you could get such great footage. I feel like it looks like a way bigger drone than it is. The 10-bit quality is so much nicer. You're able to play with the color grading more, and the dynamic range is better too, and just has a more cinematic quality when you color grade it. The Mavic 1 had vertical mode, and now they brought it back with this drone, and I'm so happy they did. It's so convenient to have vertical mode, especially when you want to shoot for Instagram or TikTok. I'm really happy that they brought vertical mode back. Battery life. I think for battery life, it's advertised that it'll fly for around 30 or so minutes. In my testing, I didn't notice that it flew any longer than my Mavic 2 Pro did. That's also a good thing because it flies pretty long. I think at least around 25 minutes or so is what I remember being able to fly it. So for me, battery life wasn't an issue at all, especially if you have extra batteries. But also if you don't have extra batteries, it's really nice that you can charge this via USB-C directly into the drone. So since I have power banks, I can just charge the battery again via my power bank. Now onto some negatives that I noticed. I noticed if you fly the drone backwards, especially if you go full throttle, it'll gain altitude when it flies backwards. I had to make sure to compensate, especially if you're trying to fly through a gap or next to a tree or something. I had to make sure to compensate so it wouldn't fly up and hit the tree. So that's something I noticed. I'm not sure if that's gonna get fixed or if there was just a problem with the firmware, but I did notice that when you're flying back, it gains a little bit of altitude. The next thing, I wish they did have sharpness settings. You can't adjust the sharpness in the settings. Basically what you have in the settings is you can just choose between normal, color, and D-Log. Then you have your frame rates. You can't really change any of the other color settings like contrast, color, and sharpness. And then the last thing is you can't change the aperture. It's locked at 1.7. And even with an ND32 on the lens, it's still a bit too bright. I'm not sure if they have ND filters yet for this, but what I ended up with doing is taping my Mavic 2 Pro ND filter to the lens, and that actually worked fine. But I couldn't get all the way down to 1/50th of a shutter speed because it was still too bright with the f1.7 lens. So it would be really nice if you could adjust the aperture. That way you can lower the shutter speed so you can get that nice motion blur when you're filming, which makes things a little more cinematic. In conclusion, I am seriously considering maybe selling my Mavic 2 Pro and getting this drone because it's so much more portable and I would get a lot more use out of it because I would take it to more places and shoot a lot more with it. But let me know what your thoughts are. Also, let me know if you have any questions, and thanks so much for watching this quick video of my thoughts on the DJI Mavic Mini 3 Pro. I will see you again in the next video. Bye bye.